All right, there we are. Geoffrey Asmus, everybody. On
There
the podcast.
we are.
Very hilarious comedian. We have worked together in Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson. Yeah. What was that like? That was like a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was,
right?
I think. Now,
like
yeah.
last
No, it was
spring.
last summer, I think.
Oh, it was last summer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I always go to Arizona in the summer, and it's one of the most brutal places in the world.
It's the worst. Yeah.
I hate that place.
I actually, the summer sucks, but I like it.
I'm
there.
sure it would be nice in another time of year, but it's like you get there and it's I was there in Phoenix. It was 115 degrees, and why does this exist? I don't really quite get it. They have like golf courses. They're like living in this like la la land.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? It's very bizarre
Well,
there.
that's why everyone there looks like 20 years older.
Yeah, they all look like they're made of fruit leather. Yeah, they all
Yeah.
look like they have skin cancer. It's crazy. I don't know why white people live there. It really doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I won't say that. Yeah, why did we do that? Why did we go out there?
We just had to prove like we can live here. We can live anywhere, on any land. Manifest destiny. We deserve this.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a fun time. That's a fun club. A classic road club.
Yeah.
The bartender's name's Dingo.
That's
He's
right.
a great
Yeah.
guy. He's a
That's
great
the most
guy.
Arizona name.
I know. He's like he was made to live there. He's a Johnny Dingo, I think his name was, or something. He's a great guy.
He is.
I always see him every time I'm there.
Yeah, I love that club. That's like one of the first clubs I like really started working regularly.
Oh, had you been there before?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, no, they were the first club that ever headlined me, I think.
Really? Wow.
Out of just
That's
a
awesome.
cold email years ago. So I always have it. They're kind of always a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be recording something there, like probably later in the year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're going to do an album there?
No, I'm not ready for a full album. Like, so you just had a special you just recorded, but it's not out yet,
like
right?
2 months ago. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be out probably in early March, probably.
Okay, and what's
Yeah.
it called again?
It's called The Only Funny White Man.
Okay.
The Only Funny White Man, which I'm sure
Hell
will
yeah.
make some people angry. I wanted it
That's
to come
that's
out.
a hilarious name, though.
It's funny.
It's great.
I really wanted it to come out on Martin Luther King Day, but it just couldn't get edited quick enough. That was my big, I thought that would just really get the algorithm going, but it unfortunately didn't get done by then. I don't know what the next, I guess it could, during Black History Month could be good. Well, maybe we'll try to do that.
There you
I
go.
didn't even think
All
about
right.
that. Okay, we still got
Nice.
February.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what's that process like on like on the back? I mean, obviously, like the day you record it has got to be somewhat terrifying.
Oh, it was
right.
Well, I got like sick. I got really sick like the 10 days beforehand. I think it was probably COVID. I just didn't want to get tested.
Oh, right.
Because then you legally
you're a real American?
I don't believe in the testing. I'm not going to get a hoax for a third time. Okay.
Oh, look, I got the hoax.
I guess.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
They did a good job, I guess. Really. But I might have, I don't know. I was very sick, though, the 10 days before. Until the day before, I almost was like going to cancel it, honestly. I had to cancel all my spots. So the recordings, I had only done one set in the 10 days beforehand. So I was like really rusty.
Yeah.
But then my voice, like kind of magically, the adrenaline came back and it was all fine. But and we did 2 nights of shows too. So I had 4 shots to get it right. So and I just wore the same outfit each time. So they're going to through the magic of editing, cobble it together from 4 shows.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm super excited to see it.
I'm excited. I think it will be very good. The guy who's editing it, they did a good job. Like, there was 5 cameras, and it looks really good.
That's cool.
I bought this dumbass LED sign that said
Alpha
behind me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it looked really cool. It was kind of like dumb, but it looked really cool with like the blue glow behind me. So that was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was in like my hometown. So like my parents and some friends came, and it was cool.
You did it at Comedy on State?
No, I did no. It was a brewery called Sisyphus Brewery in Minneapolis.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and Sisyphus, good metaphor for comedy, a good name.
Yeah.
So it
That's
was
awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It's like a little like 80, 90 person room. We did like 4 sold-out shows. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
That's cool. And how's it going to be released? Like how to?
It's just YouTube. That's just seems to be.
I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, it seems like, oh, I'm not getting paid, but you get paid indirectly.
Right.
Like, I think I was working with Mark Norman, and he was like, yeah, the special is just basically an ad for your next tour.
Right.
It's just like, I wrote these jokes, so you can assume the next jokes I write will be as good as this, basically.
Yeah.
It's like a promo, basically.
Right.
Like, you won't make that much money on the views on YouTube, but like people buying tickets and stuff, you make the money back.
Right.
Hopefully, I mean, that's the plan.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's like one of the cool things about comedy now is where you're kind of like in control of it. On your own.
It has been like democratized, which is cool. Like you don't have to wait for like some aging 80-year-old man to be like, "You're next, kid," or whatever. You got it. Yeah, you know my uncle, and now I'm gonna book you or whatever. And so that is nice.
Yeah, it's like the only thing standing in your way of success is like a solid hour. And enough money to record it.
You just have to have $5,000 or whatever, and hope this little binary sequence likes what you put out. Yeah,
right.
As long as YouTube is pretty, they don't really censor that much, so YouTube's fine. Yeah, they're like TikTok really censors. I noticed. Do you do TikTok?
I don't do TikTok.
Yeah, it is evil. It truly is. It's they censor me all the time. I get to take it. It's but then like I'll be scrolling and you'll see like an 18-year-old girl like completely naked, and that's like okay, but if I say dick, it's immediately taken down.
It's crazy.
The word pussy's fine, but dick, they get it within 30 seconds every time. I said Chinaman, and that was okay. I thought for sure the TikTok would be like, no. Wow. It doesn't make any sense. But
because I know stand-up clips on Instagram, on the captions, they will censor stuff.
They do. Yeah,
even like ass, and they'll like spell it weird. It's like,
well, I do my own captions, so I try to make little jokes with my captions, but the auto captions do that. Yeah, it's like, what are we? I don't understand why.
Right.
We're so much more worried about words than actions. I don't quite understand it.
That's really crazy.
It doesn't make sense. Like, the word fuck isn't bad, but, like, a 16-year-old twerking, that's, like, not great, in my opinion. I guess. It's weird what we choose to censor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like, a lot of those companies, it's like they get all high and mighty about, like, trying to control the social narrative in a way that they feel like is positive for people, but that's the way they sell it. But really, it's like they just care about the money.
They don't. Yeah, they don't care about. They don't care about misinformation, or they just want it all to make money. Like I'm sure you have a lot of censorship with the gun videos.
A ton. Yeah,
all the time.
Constant problem.
Really, on Instagram, or which one's the worst?
All of them. Like
YouTube, you can't monetize it, right?
We do. Well, we do. We've been lucky so far on YouTube.
You are able to monetize it. Oh, I thought for some reason I thought you couldn't.
Yeah, we get videos taken down and
really?
demonetized and things like that.
What's like the line with guns? Like, how do you?
They're always changing it. It's frustrating because it's like, from my perspective, if it's legal in the place that I'm filming the video, then it should be fine.
Right. Right.
Like that to me, that's such a clear standard.
For sure. If it was in like a state where it's not legal, maybe whatever, take it down. But if it's illegal, that's true. Yeah, why would it not be?
Right.
If the government's not going to come down on me, why are they?
Exactly.
Right.
And then they don't understand guns, so like the restrictions they do are like kind of weird and arbitrary. Like YouTube will sometimes take down your video or demonetize it if you take apart a gun, because in their mind it's like you're showing people how to like, build it in a way that's like more dangerous. It's like, no, I'm just trying to show how you safely clean it.
Oh, really?
And they don't understand that.
Oh, they can't even. Weird. So they just have no. They're people who don't understand what they're making rules about, making the rules. Yeah. Nice.
Because there was that shooting that happened, in Vegas with the bump stock thing. So then they got it in their head that like, people are like modifying guns to make them more dangerous,
right?
Which is not really that's not a thing, really,
right? I don't even. Bump stock is just like you can put extra rounds in it, or I don't really know anything.
Bump fire stocks were like, it was like this weird. I won't go into the long explanation of it, but basically it allowed you to fire the gun kind of like full auto.
They just fire it faster. Okay,
right, but it wasn't like really full auto. It's just
yeah.
It's awkward to use and stuff.
Gotcha.
But then they took that and sort of extrapolated to all these other things that are not real. And
gotcha. Yeah. Okay. See, this is something I know nothing about. I'm just a stupid little lib. Like, guns are all bad. I don't know why, but they are. I don't know. I fired one once with my uncle, and that was fun. That's it.
You're like, this is scary.
Yeah. I was like, I went skeet shooting once. That was fun, but I actually would like to shoot. I do want to buy a gun. Yeah, I do.
If you ever come through Nashville when I'm down there, we'll have to.
I would love to. That would be fun.
Shoot my M60.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun. I
can't bring it up here, unfortunately.
Oh, it's not legal?
Chicago.
Yeah, it's in Illinois or just Chicago?
I'm pretty sure the whole state.
The whole state. Yeah. Okay, but there are a lot of guns here, but they're not legal. I think it's hard to get a gun here, right?
Legally, yeah.
Yeah, legally, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. No,
Yeah.
there's a lot of illegal ones for sure.
Yeah.
I do need to get a gun. You got to get a gun. I gotta.
I've always thought it's like, I try to, like, I don't judge people for their political views, and stuff. I try to, like, stay out of that stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing I've always thought was kind of crazy is, like, how can you not at least have a gun in your house?
Just for life.
It's just like, I don't see how you could, like, maybe it's how I grew up, but it's like, how do you sleep at night knowing that the only thing stopping someone from doing whatever they want to you is just the lock on your door?
Right, which anyone can pick at any time.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a naive trust of humanity that isn't really borne out in the facts. Like, people, yeah. I just don't. If I had a gun, I don't think I would probably do. They'd probably just take it from my hands. But it would be nice to have. It'd be nice to have the option. Yeah. That'd be good. Yeah.
At least you have a shot.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I would like to have a gun one day. Yeah. My grandpa was like a champion skeet shooter. He had like an arsenal, but he just stole them all. Actually.
Oh, really?
He had like hundreds of guns. Yeah. Like some Civil War guns and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's interesting. Like, people do that. They get to a certain age and they're just like, I'm just going to get rid of
I think it was kind of because he's like depressed and didn't want guns around. I think there was a little thing with that. Yeah, I think that was part of it. But he sold them for like pennies on the dollar. Like these guys were like just jacking off to how much money they were going to make from his gun. I'm sure they made tens of thousands of dollars from it.
Yeah, some of that old, really collectible stuff. I mean,
I'm sure. Crazy. I think the Civil War rifle was like $20,000 and he sold it for like $100 or something.
Wow.
Because he's, I don't know, depressed or whatever.
Yeah. Just get it out of here.
Like, give it to me, Grandpa. Let me sell it. I'll do it for you. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Is that who got you into guns? Was it your dad, or is it just a family thing?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just, where are you guys from? Tennessee?
Yeah.
Long time?
Yeah. Well, my parents are like from Kentucky, but I was born in Tennessee.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Similar vibes, though.
Basically.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
You grew up in Nashville then?
Right, yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, so you've been there. You did comedy there, grew up there? Yeah, you had to get out.
Yeah.
You had to get out.
I did, yeah.
You've probably seen it grow from like, it was kind of like a, now it's kind of like a bustling metropolis. It wasn't always like that.
Yeah, it has grown a lot as a city. Like, comedy scene-wise, it was... there's been a lot of talent come through there.
Right.
I have to say. I mean, and not to say anything bad about the scene. It's just a smaller comedy scene.
Yeah.
It's,
for sure.
So it's like, if you're trying to, as you both know, as you're trying to grow as a comic, you got to be somewhere where there's more opportunity.
Yeah, you start there, you get your chops, but then you get out after like 5 years or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely stayed a little too long.
Everyone, but it's also harder when it's where you grew up. You got all those connections. It's hard. It's hard to get out. Yeah, I get that. But
I've also done the road a fair amount. For open mic comic, basically. So I'm not just like totally oblivious to kind of what it is.
Yeah, and Nashville has like a lot of, there's like stars that live there, like Bargatze lives there, Theo Vaughn, so you get to like brush shoulders with like people who are really, really doing it, or like Josh Wolf or Steve Byrne and all of them. So and
I feel like that's important too. Coming up is getting to see a high level of talent.
Yeah, because sometimes in these small cities, you're like, oh, Dave's the best comic ever. Every scene has their like guy, and they're like, oh, Dave kind of sucks. They're just like, he's the only comic who's been doing it more than 10 years, and then he fucks all the new female comics because that's what he earned or whatever. Every little scene has that guy. And then he's like just doing stolen jokes from the 80s. And they're like, holy shit. No one talks about cum like Dave. No one could ever do it. He's a genius.
No, it's like, sometimes on the road, stopping in these like small scenes and just going to like an open mic or whatever, it's almost kind of like sad.
It is a little sad
because I'm new. I'm still figuring it out. I don't feel like I'm that good, but it's like sometimes I'll stop in small towns and they're just like,
oh,
where did this guy come from?
Yeah, oh, it's amazing and it's like because it's an open mic and they've all heard each other's jokes, but you're a brand new comic to them, so it's basically a crowd of 20, 25 people or whatever, and they're like, "What? You put a punchline after a setup? Holy shit! We didn't even do that in Omaha or whatever." Omaha's actually nice, but like the littler towns, you go to like Peoria or something like that. That's what it's like.
Yeah,
people, because there's always those people. They just get stuck there.
You can't make it in those kind of people have made it out of Nashville.
Nashville's big enough, but there are those like small
tough.
towns where like there's like 2 shows a month, and these guys like have this bizarre delusion that they're gonna make it from Springfield, Illinois, or whatever. It's like, have fun for 2 or 3 years, but you got to get out. It's not gonna work.
Totally,
it's no way.
Something I thought, like in hindsight, no one starting comedy would probably be capable of thinking it through to this level, but just from my own experience, I think almost like the best system would be like if you started comedy in like even like let's say a place like Chicago, like you did your first mics here, right? So you're seeing like good talent, you're coming in at a pretty high standard. Do that for like a year or 2. And then go to like one of those small one club towns.
Oh, and then like be the big fish
and just
in the
be
little
like
pond.
the guy there, right?
Yeah.
And get to host and feature for like every big comic that rolls through.
That is a good idea.
And then go to like New York or LA.
Right. You go to Chicago, get your chops, then become the king of Cleveland for like 3 years.
Exactly.
That is an impossible idea to know in advance.
Right.
But that is a great idea.
Yeah.
I've always thought that would be the dream to like if right now I just went to Des Moines and just became the guy of Des Moines.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a bad life.
No.
It would be fine. As long as you don't think too deeply on it, it would be pretty fun, honestly.
Yeah.
You get a headline 2 weekends a year, feature for all the big guys. It wouldn't be so bad, really.
No, it's not. But sometimes you see those guys and it's like...
Well, I also know those guys, and they're not usually the happiest people.
Right, exactly.
They're always like jaded, like, I could have made it, but I just chose to knock up my wife. Or whatever.
Yeah.
If not for this damn kid, it wouldn't have been the Jay Leno show. It would have been Dave. Yeah, it's always like that.
Yep.
A lot of Chicago has that too. People just don't move. I get it.
Yep.
It's tough.
It is.
Because most people fail. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Like, I moved to New York and failed once and came back, and now I moved back. But
I was going to ask you, what's that transition been like? Like, because I've actually never even been to New York.
Oh, you've never been to New York? Oh, wow. No. Oh, New York's great. I mean, it's great. New York is a really cool place. It's not. You hear all the stories. It's dangerous. It's not really dangerous. I mean, it's just like Chicago. There's parts of it that are dangerous, but the actual 90% of New York is quite incredibly safe, honestly. And it's just there's like 15 comedy clubs or something like that. Right. When you count all like and then there's like so many. There's like 50 shows a night happening. Yeah. It's like insane, and it's so. You can't help you if you don't get better. Like it's just not for you. Find out if it's for you or not. Really, if you can't get better in that like setting, you're not gonna make it. Yeah. So it's like a dog. It's very competitive and it's incredibly stressful. And I had some of the worst days of my life there. But it's the high highs, low lows is what I would say. Yeah. Like if you had this time I got lucky enough. I'm at the Comedy Cellar now. I got passed, and that's really awesome. Cool. But the last time I lived in New York, I wasn't passed really anywhere, and I had $0 in my bank account many times, and that was really not fun, I would say. That was kind of rough.
It's such an expensive place to live.
It's very expensive, and we're not really taught financial literacy, and I'm just making excuses for my lack of self-control. But I but had $0. And I was like, you have to have a job unless you're gonna be like a full-time headliner, which I luckily am now. But last time I was not, and I was like, I don't need a job. I'll make money doing open mics. I was like, what? And then looking back, you're like, what a fucking idiot I was. I'll dog walk 5 hours a week. That'll be enough. And then you run out of that little nest egg.
Yeah, you thought you'd be like one of those little kids in the 50s, just like a street hustler with a little paperboy hat.
Yeah, just come on. I'll walk your dog for $20, and that will somehow pay rent. No one knows how. Yeah. I went out to New York with like $12,000, and I was like, this will never be gone. How could anyone spend $12,000? And then it was gone in 6 months.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it is absurd how much they didn't teach us about.
They never taught us about money. Yeah. We had economics like one semester in high school, but that's like not really personal finance. I have no idea what taxes are still. I really don't understand it. 401k, I have truly no idea what that is. Roth IRA.
It's really like, as an adult, you realize like the most important stuff.
It's one of the most important things.
Everything else they taught us in school basically was like stuff we could just pull up on our phones.
Right. Yeah, we don't need to, with the Pythagorean theory, I could learn that on my phone.
Yeah. The only thing you really learn in school is just how to be a person, to interact with other people.
Yeah, it's mostly like how to make friends and stuff. College is mostly, did you go to college?
A couple of times.
There you go. I mean,
attempted a couple of times.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you go?
I went to this school in East Tennessee called Carson Newman.
Oh, okay.
And I went to like a little technical.
Oh, nice. Did you just party too hard?
No, I wasn't a big partier.
Really?
I just sucked at like the classroom environment.
Right. I mean, it isn't. It's if we're gonna be a comic, it's stupid to go to college. I mean, it's a waste. Yeah. It sucks that it's so stupid that we throw our kids or us into college when, like, how could you have any idea what you want to do in your life when you're 18 years old?
Yeah.
You're just wasting $100,000 on a childish fantasy you have. It's like, but you shouldn't go. You should have like 3. Well, in Europe they give like the gap years and stuff.
Right.
I think that I don't know why we don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, just have some time to think and grow.
Totally, yeah. Just work a real job.
Or work a real job and be like, realize, like, I don't know exactly how to implement it, but it's our college system is true. It's insane.
Yeah.
And all the debt and all, it's wild.
It is.
Thank God I'm never paying my debt. Sorry, UW Credit Union. I will never pay it. They call me every day. I'm never paying it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know that.
It's like, that's all it costs, just getting a phone call every now and then.
I know. That's legitimately all it is. Every day this guy calls me around noon, and that's it. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can go to jail for debt anymore. I just I get like, they're like, well, we'll hurt your credit. I'm never going to own a house. I don't care. Right. I'm not going to buy a car. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably being a little naive, but I also don't. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. I don't understand how all that stuff works.
I don't get it. And like, I think I got a bunch of degrees that like religion, history, Asian culture, which I think are like mentally and intellectually useful, but like, if they're not going to give me a salary, I shouldn't have to pay as much for school. Yeah. Like, you should have to pay more for jobs that, like, an engineering degree should cost more than my degree, which it really doesn't. Really, it doesn't make that much sense when you think about it.
Well, and also like college is based on such an old system, and the world has changed so much.
Oh yeah, and they can't even.
Since we were there,
they can't even keep up with it.
No, they can't.
They like with social media and stuff. They can't even.
Yeah.
I heard like journalism classes. They barely can talk about online journalism yet because the curriculum hasn't even caught up yet. It's just moving.
Crazy.
So they're still talking about like print media, and the kids are like, "What? Why are we learning this?
Yeah.
Radio? Like, what are we talking about?" It's we can't keep up.
Yeah, it's like when you get your job at the newspaper.
Right. Or like a comedy class, like you're gonna want to send in a 3-minute clean DVD to the bookers.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started, there were still clubs where they're like, send us a DVD in the mail of your comedy. That's what they used to do.
That's wild.
Or like I know at Zany's, like they would send VHSs, and that's how you got booked back in the day.
That's crazy.
It's bizarre. And then like your avails were just like letters. You'd write them letters or whatever, or call them at a certain time every month or something like that. I don't actually know how people did comedy before cell phones. Like in New York, I actually don't because like doing multiple spots a night, I actually have no idea
how they know where the spots
are.
How
they organize it, how they know where they are. Like if someone's running late or like I don't know how it would work actually.
I mean, so much fewer comics, I guess.
Yeah. And they just I'm sure they just learned how to deal with it. Yeah. It's just like our brains, like we can't fathom things because we've had it our whole lives, but I'm sure they were fine.
Yeah, that old barely old enough to remember like you had to like call to look for someone.
What do you mean?
Like, or like at least being a kid, like
is Danny home? Exactly.
Yeah,
or like meeting at a movie theater, you just like hope everyone makes it.
You're
just like we'll be there at 5, and we can't do that anymore. Everyone bails constantly.
Right.
That's why I do miss that. No one bailed when we were younger.
That's true.
When, like cell phones,
people waiting on you.
There's people waiting, and you're like, oh, we plan to be here. We're gonna be here. Now I feel like I'm guilty of it too, but we bail half the time, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we just have so many options at our fingertips.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, too many options. It's weird that it kind of is a bad thing. Like
it is.
Like with streaming services.
It's like,
it's so hard to like choose what to watch. I think that's why like TV shows have gotten so much bigger now, especially certain TV shows.
Right.
Because there's like a freedom in like, I'm watching this show. There's a new episode. I don't have to decide what to watch.
Like it just keeps going. You mean like when you can binge it? Yeah.
Yeah. Either if you're binging it or if it's like a new show that's coming out.
Yeah.
There's just like a comfort in that.
And like the Netflix, they have an algorithm that they know what shows you like, and so they show. I was talking to some guy, I can't remember who. There's like an entire department of Netflix that just concentrates on the algorithm of a thumbnail. And they have like 8 or 10 different thumbnails for every show.
Yeah.
And they show you a different thumbnail based on the type of thumbnails you've liked in the past.
That's crazy.
Like they're like, some people like to see a face, or some people like more cartoonish designs. So they have different thumbnails based on your algorithmic performance.
Yeah.
It's like an entire department of Netflix.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know. They're just so into our brains we can't even fathom it.
Imagine telling someone it's like, I'm a thumbnail advisor actually.
Yeah, this is what that's what you do with your fucking life. That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of did that like in the early days of YouTube. The stuff that me and Dad were doing, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I would start to notice. I was very like in the early days before we kind of like had our set thing where it's like, this is what we make. Who cares what other people are doing?
Yeah.
This is kind of where we're at now. We're such an established.
Yeah,
brand,
people love you guys. Yeah.
We do what we do, and it is what it is. But in the early days when we were trying to figure all that out, it's like I would look at other like gun videos. I would notice thumbnails, and especially like the algorithm was a lot more pure back then.
Okay,
like, the mathematics on it was just way simpler.
You could kind of understand it.
There wasn't like all this crazy data like the stuff you're talking about all ingrained in it.
It was more just straight up like have a title, have a flashy picture.
Yeah, if
whatever.
it looks interesting, it's going to get more clicks,
right?
Kind of thing.
How long have you guys been doing it?
So we really kind of got going in 2008.
Oh, so you've been doing it a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and even before that, you kind of did it too?
No, that was about when we got going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn. 15 years. Damn. When did it really take off?
Probably like, when it became like a full-time job for me was around 2011, 2012.
Oh, so pretty, not that long, really.
Yeah.
That's great. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's your full job.
Yeah, it has been for like over 10 years.
That's great. That's awesome. That rocks.
Yeah.
You posted something on Instagram that was crazy. Your theory that they show that picture or they show a post when you get on. I never thought about that. I think what was the exactly? What was
I've been noticing this a lot. It's Instagram and Facebook where I notice
Facebook. Yeah.
As soon as I open it, there'll be a post, and it's always something that like I would be interested in. Because like most of the stuff I see on Instagram, it's like. Only some of it is interesting to me. Whatever. But it's always something that's like, oh, I'd love to see that, and then it's there for a second, and then it's gone,
disappears,
and you got to chase it, and then while you're chasing it, you're seeing all these other ads, you're seeing other posts, and then you're gonna get stuck in it, and it's like and then I started to notice that it was. It's like, oh, this has got to be intentional.
You're right, because it's usually like I feel like it's almost always like a close friend or like someone's having a show or something. I always notice that,
or something that like I'll even catch it on like it's something I just looked at.
Recently.
Maybe I'm looking for a new table to buy. I've been looking on eBay, been looking on Amazon or whatever,
Yeah.
And I just open Instagram, and then it just happens to be a post of someone like, "Hey, I just got a new table."
Right.
Stuff like that.
It's always the phone's definitely listing. I mean, you talk about someone and it shows that.
That totally happens. But that tells me that it was like they intentionally did that with that one
to like send it like you'll go on a wild goose chase to find it. Absolutely,
it wasn't just some random. And also I started noticing the timing was the same. That's another thing. Like if it was random, then the timing should be different.
Okay.
It should be stuck for like a minute sometimes.
Oh, yeah. No, it goes away right away. The first post always goes away.
But it's like the
same
just
enough
beat.
So you can grasp the kind of meaning of it, but you don't quite know what the context is.
Exactly.
And they throw it away. Yeah, it's
that's
wild.
pretty sinister.
It's all... What was that? There was a documentary on Netflix. What was it? The Social Dilemma? Did you watch that?
I did. It's terrible.
That one really... That kind of changed my life a little bit. I'm like, this is... I mean, I still participate in it, but God, it's really
Yeah.
brutally evil.
It is.
That's really what's destroying our society is the social media companies.
Yeah.
They really are. It's not good.
Yeah.
Like, but I do know the algorithm isn't foolproof because like they'll show me someone's post who I was talking about, but the phone doesn't know I was shit talking that person. So they're always showing me posts of people I hate. And I'm like, you don't quite know me yet.
Yeah, but they want that too because they know that's gonna.
They still know it will get engaged me.
Yeah.
They still know I'll get engaged by it.
Yeah.
They actually, I think that was in the documentary. They like to show you things that make you mad.
Yeah,
they just want you to
totally.
feel something. It doesn't need to
Yeah.
be joy. It's just something that they want you to
Right.
feel. They just don't want you to feel neutral, really.
Yeah. Like with this is some inside baseball stuff, but like with comics, you're probably above this now. But it's like you see some local show flyer and it's like, oh, look at this bullshit. I can't believe that person's on
every
there.
time,
You know?
every single time. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if I haven't been there in 4 years. I'm like, why the fuck are they doing Chicago?
You screenshot it and send it to 80 of your friends.
Oh, we have a
mad.
group chat that's almost exclusively that. Like, how did they book Danny on the Chicago Underground comedy or whatever?
Totally, yeah.
No, the pettiness never leaves.
No, never
and it doesn't leave at any level. Like, I've worked with people who are like, they're huge and they still have that. Like, how did he get that fucking Netflix special before me? How did she get that? And it's never. It's always like the next one up. Maybe at Kevin Hart it stops. Maybe then he's like, I'm the best. But other than that, I think it might just go forever all the way to the top. To be, like thinking
that's true. Yeah, Kevin Hart's just like, I'm on everything and I deserve it.
Yeah,
So.
I guess we need to make 5 more Jumanjis, I guess. But otherwise, he's fine.
That's true. He's never gonna see someone that's like, oh, what the hell? This guy sold out 2 stadiums.
Yeah, what? You know? Yeah, right. Because the jealousy does end at some point, and then you just cheat on your wife a lot or whatever he does. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, social media. It sucks that we've signed a contract with the devil.
Yeah,
it's you can't do comedy without it. I mean,
you can't.
There's no way you can't have a career unless you're like everyone's like, well, Donald Glover doesn't. Like, he was famous already. Like,
right.
I would love to do that, but his childish game. His other name. Like, he's famous.
Yeah,
we can't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah, it's so weird because I try to look at Instagram and Facebook less. Yeah. But then also, like, I'm trying to get people to look at mine more.
I know.
So it feels so hypocritical.
Yeah. Like, I don't really scroll on the apps. I'm pretty proud I don't do that anymore. But then I'm also only on there, like, posting my own stuff. So then I'm hypothetically causing other people to scroll and do the thing that I took out of my life because it was ruining my life. So it's like, what are we? We're just adding more evil into the world, I guess.
That's the one thing that at least is like, I feel like is still pure about like stand-up comedy and even like what me and Dad do with our YouTube videos. Yeah. It's like, it's closer to like TV where, you know what I mean? Where like stand-up comedy, for example, you sit down and you watch a special.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I like that guy. And then you go to the show. It's like a little bit more pure of a human.
For sure. It's not just a quick, like, 10-second scroll or whatever. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, like I think live stand-up is one of the last pure things.
It really is. Yeah.
I think live music has kind of been ruined by people with their cell phones. I hate going to concerts because everyone's just like looking at their phone while looking at the concert. I don't really.
And I don't get to take advantage of my height anymore because like someone's phone.
Right. Oh yeah. Right. You used to dominate concerts. Yeah. But now it's just like I don't know where the video's going. You're gonna watch it later. Like I don't quite. It's like at comedy shows. That's not okay. We don't allow them to do that.
Right.
And I don't know why they let people do it at music shows. Really.
It's weird. My thing with music shows has always been like. I want to film like 30 seconds. I'm in a show that's an hour and a half long.
Sure.
I want 30 seconds to be like, hey, look at this. I was at this show.
Maybe they should just say every concert like one song. Okay.
Here's the one.
This one.
Yeah,
we'll have a good light show. Come on, get your phone out.
Yeah.
But you just look. You like see more. You can't even see the stage.
Some people filming the whole show.
They should film the entire show. Yeah. It's like, why are you here? I don't really understand. But it's not just a couple people. It's the majority sometimes, honestly. Yeah. I used to love concerts. Now I'm like, I don't really go that often anymore.
I'll tell you, have you ever been to like a deathcore concert before? Like,
no. Dude, I mean, not deathcore. Is that like dead? Is that like Dead Grips or Death Grips? What type of? What's like a band in deathcore?
Well, like Acacia Strain. Like Knocked Loose is really big now.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the heaviest song. I've never been to anything that heavy. No.
Okay. Well, it's like because of like the moshing and everything. People have their phones out.
Oh, true. You get your phone knocked out.
Oh, you lose it.
Right.
Yeah.
I did, or I went to. This is not nearly as heavy, like Rise Against or Rancid or Against Me, more like punk shows.
Yeah.
I never did like deathcore, but I did mosh back in the day. I got fucking jacked up in those things. I was not. They really nothing like a big burly guy. They're looking around for guys like me, like to knock me over. They're just waiting for it. And it was kind of there is like a release. Do you get in there? Do you mosh?
No, I don't mosh because like I don't know how to do it. Cause I didn't grow up doing it. Like a comic friend of mine actually got me into it. Like I don't know a few years ago.
Oh really?
I've always been like a metal head, but I never went to those shows.
Oh yeah.
So I like to be like near it, so it feels
you're like on
danger.
The circle, like pushing people back in or whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That is fun. It is a fun thing.
It has its own culture and everything, so it's kind of like a thing where it's like, all right, this is like your thing. I appreciate it, but I'm not trying to like.
There's always like one guy who takes off his shirt and he's like a little too wild, but people, they do help people up right away. Whenever I'm there, they're pretty like helpful and familial about it, which is cool.
Yeah. Unless there's like I was at one show. Like apparently it's not as crazy now as it used to be like back in the day.
Oh really?
Like 10 or 15 years ago, it was like really crazy. Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, like I was at an Acacia Strain show, and I used to have a bit about it that never worked. But this guy, he was like, yeah, I remember we played this venue before, and someone got hit in the head with a brick. And he just goes, that was cool, and he just started the song.
And then you are like, are we supposed to throw a brick? Is that what we're doing?
It's like, damn, I missed that one.
Yeah. Also, that's like it's like badass, but some guy's life was probably ruined.
Probably.
He doesn't remember his name anymore because of the Acacia Strain concert or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Those bands that's wild. Is that like kind of screamo? Is that kind of similar?
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Similar. Yeah.
I know those guys are incredibly talented. It's a little too angry for me, but I know they're like technically incredibly talented musicians.
Yeah.
Like drummers in those bands are insane.
Dude, yeah.
The double bass pedal they do and stuff, I can't even imagine that shit. That blows my mind.
Yeah, it's like a sport almost.
It is. I don't know. I can't even like fathom moving my feet that quickly.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I'm just listening to more like Allman Brothers, more like the completely opposite type of music, but that's all I
love the Allman Brothers.
Oh, Southern rock is the best.
It really
I mean, if like Leonard Skinner's so fucking good.
Yep.
If I had a beer with them, I probably wouldn't agree with what they had to say, but I do love their music so much.
Yeah, me too.
They're fucking. Actually, the thing about Leonard Skinner is they used to be like. They were like kind of like cool hippie like Southerners.
True.
But then like they all died in the plane crash, and then they're like dumbass like cousins and uncles started the Confederate flag thing.
True,
like that wasn't the original Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
It's like a whole new band. I think there's only one member that's the same.
Yeah.
Gary Rossington or whatever. I think they're all.
Yeah.
They like created this like Southern redneck thing, but that's not what they were originally at all.
Yeah.
So I that's why I like the original Leonard Skinner a lot.
Yeah, Leonard Skinner's great, and the Allman Brothers are just. I feel like they're even more talented musicians, just like blues.
Oh yeah, they're like Grateful Dead. They're like great.
Right, they are like the Grateful Dead.
They're a very Deadhead level, and I love. Yeah, they're amazing, and the Dead are great too.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the recording studio, the famous one in Muscle Shoals?
Oh yeah, I know of it. Yeah, is that in Alabama or what?
Yeah,
Mississippi, Alabama. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I stopped in there just on the road one time.
Oh, nice.
And I was just the comic I was with was like. He's like real nerdy about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about it, so we went on the tour, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I would
the Allman
love
Brothers
that.
We were like standing in the room where that band was formed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's awesome. I would love to go there. That's cool. That stuff's really cool. I really like that. Well, my friend's obsessed with the Allman Brothers. He said they used to they go like by this graveyard in Georgia and just take mushrooms and just jam for hours every night by this church or graveyard. That those dudes rocked. It sucks that who died, Dwayne or Greg? In the they both died now. Dwayne died in the Moore song. He was so good at guitar.
Yeah,
he was like 22, and he would have been like the next Jimi Hendrix probably.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There was a guy, an open mic that I used to host back in Nashville. There was a guy who wrote a song with the Allman Brothers.
Oh, really?
Who used to lead the music open mic that went on before my comedy
open mic. Damn.
Yeah,
he wrote a song for the Allman Brothers. Damn.
Yeah.
Do you remember what song?
I have to look it up. I can't remember. It was a little bit later.
Yeah, because they did stay together for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, that's still crazy though. Damn. Yeah. I love that. That's the one boomer thing I get on board with is that like music used to be better.
Yeah.
I generally am like, oh, progress is good. We're moving forward, but music, it was so much better in the 70s.
And I feel like it's like you can actually like explain it on paper. It's not just an opinion thing because it's like the reason that like rock and roll was so great in the 70s because it was being discovered at that time.
It was new, yeah, it was all new, and like you look like pop. I do like some pop music now, but most of it's like I don't know that much about music theory, but I know a little. It's like it's so simple. All the songs now have the same like 1-4-5 chord progression. They're all the same. But then you go like the 70s, like Elton John and Stevie Wonder were like doing like key changes, crazy rhythms, and that was pop music back then.
Yeah.
You'll never hear a key change in a pop song now. I haven't heard one in 15 years probably.
Yeah.
And they just don't do seventh chords, or this is getting nerdy, but like they don't do like these other chords and stuff. It's just so simple.
Yeah.
It's watered down. It's all the same.
Yep.
There's like a thing like it's called like the millennial chord progression. It's in like every pop song. I can't remember what it is exactly, but
yeah, it's creepy how like I don't even like pop music, but I'll be at like a gas station, hear a song that's like it's in my head.
You know what it
is
already.
I don't want this in here.
You've heard it because every 2 years there's like a melody or rhythm that like 20 songs use, and then you just hear it, and it's created to worm into our heads. That's the point.
Just to produce money.
It's mindless blather or what. I mean, there's some good stuff, but it's generally bad.
Yeah, I was leaving a open mic in Nashville. I was stuck in traffic on this bridge, and I was like, I had the windows down. I heard something. I was like, what the hell is that? I turned my music off, and I could hear Elton John. And I looked. I was right next to the stadium, and he was playing a live concert.
Playing. Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
Oh, hell yeah.
I got to hear the entirety of like Rocket Man.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
like, while I was stuck in traffic. And there was this car that kept getting up next to me that was like blasting music really loud.
Like, fucking turn it off.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Elton John's right there.
We're getting a free fucking concert. Oh, at Bridgestone Arena or what? The Titans Stadium? Oh, that rocks. I love Elton John's my hero. I love Elton John. I saw him once with Billy Joel, actually.
Oh, wow.
It was great when I was in college. Yeah, that was so cool. They did like a couple duets together. That was awesome. Rock. Billy Joel, I like him, but Elton John is just... Yeah. That's like the one celebrity. When he dies, I'll probably get a little misty-eyed.
Yeah.
He's like that.
Well, he just did his farewell tour, kind of.
Yeah, but I don't trust that. I don't. Yeah, Kiss has been on a farewell tour for 25 years. Elton John like just had like a top 40 hit. He's still like relevant. Yeah. It's crazy. I love that dude. Yeah, he rips. Who's your musician that you're like?
It's like my favorite like that.
Who's still alive that you'd like to see?
Maybe Ozzy.
Oh yeah. He just had a new album in the last year, didn't he? Well, I only listened to the song with Jeff Beck because he just died, so I listened to that, and it was pretty good. Yeah. Is Ozzy? He can't talk, but he can sing.
Yeah.
He's just like talking like, but then he's like has this kind of beautiful voice. Yeah. It's very haunting. He's a very good singer.
Yeah, and a great songwriter too.
Yeah, he's good. Really. Yeah, he kind of invented like being like depressed, and he's like very depressed in his songs always, and no one was really doing that.
But in such a like brilliant way.
Yeah, in like a cool demonic depression kind of. He's like, exactly, I'm depressed because the devil loves me or something. It's like, okay, it's kind of cool, man.
And nice. Early Sabbath stuff is just like so incredible.
Yeah, because like Tommy, I don't know how you say his name, Tommy Iommi or whatever. Yeah, Tony. He had like a 5-string. Oh, is it Tony? Yeah. Oh yeah, he had like a weird 5-string guitar that he tuned weirdly or something.
Yeah. No, the story is so his I forgot how it happened, but he lost the tips of his fingers. I believe it was
really?
The middle finger and the ring finger.
Oh yeah.
And he had to tune his guitar down so the strings would be looser, like so he could play it easier.
Oh, gotcha. So it's not like as hot. Okay,
gotcha. It's part of what like gave him the sound.
Yeah, because it's all in like drop C or drop D or something like
C,
that.
I think something like that.
Yeah, so right, because it's very easy to bend that.
Right.
Oh, okay. That's why
that part of gave them the sound, and then also like their first gigs were. It's been a while since I've been into this stuff, but it's like I forget where it was, but they were playing these like long shows.
Yeah.
You know, where they were basically just like, we need music in this room.
Fill it for 3 hours.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what gave them that just kind of like almost like a jam kind of sound.
Oh, that's why they had like 9-minute long song, War Pigs, and all that. Gotcha.
Exactly. You know?
That's what a lot of those old bands. That's how they came up, was like doing like those 3-hour long shows. Like the Beatles. That's how they got good. They had this gig in Germany where they do like 8-hour shows every night, and that's how like Malcolm Gladwell said they got good, like their 10,000 hours or whatever. which I don't know if I entirely believe, but I think can't hurt. Can't hurt to play an 8-hour concert every day.
I love that. I love hearing like the stories behind that, like how a band like got their personality or like their thing,
I'm obsessed with classic rock. It's best.
It's like just art in general. It's like this thing you throw it against the rocks of the environment and life or whatever. And like that's what's so cool about art. It's just shaped by all these jagged edges of
I'm obsessed with like the people who were great but they just don't make it for whatever reason. Like they just because something happened or some random thing, because it's not fair.
Especially with comedy. There's some comics out there that
some amazing comedians who are way funnier than anyone, like way funnier than Kevin Hart, but they just didn't know the right person, or maybe they didn't work hard enough or whatever, but like they just will never make it. Like what's that guy, Richard Jenny? Have you ever heard of that guy? He was like massive in the 90s. He was like successful, but he never became like a household name, and then he like killed himself in like the early 2000s. And every comic was like, Richard Jenny was the best comic. We don't know why he wasn't famous. It does, and there's no real reason. It just didn't happen. No one really knows. It's always like that.
I think it's like sometimes I think there are comics that are so talented that they don't respect it.
Or they're so talented that they don't put that like work into like promoting themselves. They're like, oh, I'm so talented, and they're correct. They're like, that will carry me, but there is like a part where like networking and promoting, you do have to do that. And sometimes the less talented comics realize they have to do that, and then they put their energy into promoting or taking cool pictures at shows or whatever the fucking shit that people do. And it works. They're not wrong to do it.
I always thought it's like you're better off to be like that in that middle ground of talent.
You know what I mean? You'd rather have like a B talent and then be able to realize that.
Because you have to work for it.
Yeah, exactly. The people who just I know people I started with who are effortlessly funny. And because of that, they just kind of quit because they got jaded that why is my effortless talent not allowing me to get booked? Well,
one cares.
No one cares, and you never sent an email to someone. They're like, they'll come to me, and they should, but that's not how it works, unfortunately.
Yes, it's not the 50s. There's not like some fat guy smoking a cigar in the back like, you got it, kid.
I heard Dave's pretty good. We gotta go find him. It's like you gotta send the honey out to get the bees, or whatever. People, I was very naive about that for a while. I was like, well, I killed at the showcase on Thursday. Everyone knows about it. Everyone in New York heard about it, even though I live in Chicago. They all know. But then you're like, oh, it doesn't really matter. That's one nice lesson of comedy. You learn, like, I'm doing it almost 10 years now. You learn that like no single show really matters. Like I used to get really nervous, like, oh, it's who the booker is in the crowd. It's like it doesn't matter. No, the idea that like one night will make or break your career is, I think that hasn't been true for like 20 years probably.
You're almost going to do better by just like not caring.
Just not care, have fun, and do the thing you've been doing, and hopefully someone will see it. But that you're not going to like in the old days, it was true that like one night could change your life, but there's no real path in comedy anymore. So that's just not in anything really. Late night doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, I'd love to do it, but it's not like what it used to be.
And I mean, I always try to have the mentality of like I'm competing with myself more than anything.
You can't look at like there's no like what's it called? Like people have like I used to have like a scarcity mentality. You're like, oh, if that guy got that, then that means I can't get it. It's like that's not true.
It doesn't work that way.
They got a Netflix special, that means I can't. It's like they just have an infinite amount of Netflix specials. You can or make your own on YouTube. There's no quota anymore. It's not like in the old days where there was one guy a week did Carson or one guy a week did Letterman, and that's it.
When I watched, have you seen the Comedy Store documentary?
I actually did not watch that yet. I heard it's good.
It made me like almost physically ill.
Really?
because
of like how they had a path or whatever.
Oh, it was just like as much as I've had problems coming up, it's like thank God I didn't start in that time.
Oh, it was harder, you think?
Not necessarily harder. It was just like if certain people didn't like you, you were done.
Right.
You were done.
That like gatekeeper thing isn't as big of a deal anymore.
Yeah.
Like if like Mitzi Shore like thought you talked weird, it didn't matter what you did.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was literally a thing in there where it was like she didn't like tall people.
Oh, really?
Just like,
so you were done. You were like,
dude,
doesn't matter what you could do.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, who's a tall older comedian?
Yeah,
from LA, and I can't. They so like because of that, she just didn't pass them.
Yeah,
that's so weird.
And there's a famous story about Louis. You know, and Louis was great at this time. This wasn't like in the 80s. Like this was like in the early 2000s, I think.
Yeah,
he tried to get past there.
Really.
And, she didn't even finish his set. She was like, I don't like him.
You really? And then that's crazy.
And people were telling her, like, this is Louis C.K.
This is
He's
the
like
guy.
He's like the best comic in New York or whatever, you know?
She's like, that's crazy. And you're like, and that because we think like, oh, Mitzi Shore founded the Comedy Store. She must have the best taste in comedy. And it's like, this is all very subjective. I mean, she had good taste in some people, but it's not, everything's not for everyone,
right?
Which is the worst part of comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
How subjective it is.
But that's again, what's great is like your special coming out like on YouTube. I mean, it just you know, I think a healthy mentality when I try to maintain is like the thing standing between me and some potential success is a solid hour.
Right, just have a good hour, and people
YouTube.
love stand up now. It's like we're in a golden age. We're in like the second golden age of stand up right now. Like people love to watch just like unknown comics specials.
And so many of them are bad. That's the thing. It's like
there's a lot of bad ones, so you can stand out. I mean, there's a lot of bad.
I know
specials.
Yours is great. I've seen most of it.
We hope so. We hope so. I think it will be. Like my friend Ronan Hirschberg, he put out a special.
He's incredible.
He's amazing.
He's so good.
He's one of those guys. I'm like, oh, he should be. Doing stadiums.
He's so good.
And I hope he will one day. And his like specials got a few 100,000 views.
Yeah.
With not really much like he doesn't have that many followers or anything. So like it does.
But it'll grow.
The cream does rise to the top. It does. In the end, it might take a little while, but it does get there.
I love that joke he has about people telling him like a story about a dream they had. Like, oh, tell me what else didn't happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. What was he has one joke about Game of Thrones. Like people are like, there's so much rape in it or whatever, and it's like. I can't. Now I'm starting to tell him like I don't remember it. God damn it! You'll just have to listen to it. I can't. Great. I always am about to tell someone's jokes, and I'm like, oh, I can't tell it.
Yeah.
I just know the gist is it's about rape in Game of Thrones, which looking back doesn't look great. That I think that's funny, but it's good. It's anti-rape. It's an anti-rape joke. I want everyone to know.
Yeah, I'm bad. Like I love jokes so much. Like it's one of my favorite things to do is be like, just tell other.
Are you good at retelling jokes?
I don't know if I am or not, but
you can remember it at least.
Sometimes, yeah.
I can't. I always do what I just did. That happens every time I try to tell a joke. It's actually bad. I need to get better at it.
I'll tell you one of my favorite jokes by a comic who doesn't do comedy anymore. I don't know. I would say his name, but I don't know if he'd want me to say his name
he quit or whatever.
But I'll tell you his joke. It's one of my favorites. It's not on any of his stuff, his album or anything. I'll probably butcher it, but it's like they found out that apparently Albert Einstein was like misogynistic, you know, and people were like trying to like cancel him or something like that. They found that out or whatever. But he was like, do you really want to draw that much attention to the fact that the smartest man in the world had enough of women's bullshit?
That's great. That's really funny. Wait, this is one of my friends, the kind of the guy I was referring to earlier, who is effortlessly funny.
Yeah.
And he still does comedy, but not in the way he should. I won't name him, but he had a joke that's kind of like that in the same vein that it went huge on Reddit like 5 or 6 years ago. It was like if women can do everything men can do, how come they've never successfully oppressed an entire gender? And it really, he was saying it like tongue in cheek to like make fun of incels, but
so funny.
The Red Pill Reddit really got a hold of that one, and it was like huge on Reddit. It always cracks me up.
That's the worst. That's something I saw happen to you recently.
Yeah, it did.
That's the worst. Is like when you're making a joke that's just silly. It's supposed to be silly. And then, the internet takes it, and they're like, see, this guy, he's speaking the truth.
Oh, it happens all the time. Because people want to, I don't know, what they want comedy to mean something. And I think, I'm trying to say a little things with my comedy, but generally it's just trying to be funny. I don't really pick a side. I truly don't care. But yeah, like I went big on like generally right wing Instagram and TikTok recently with a joke that it's like a joke making fun of liberals, and I like kind of agree with it, but I also realize it's not the joke for the context is like that conservatives grow all the food and liberals don't grow the food, which is like kind of true, but it's also not true. Also, there's many liberal farmers. That's like not entirely true, but they're all like this account like Patriot Mama posts it, and she's like, "This is the truth we need." Then a guy named the Funny Republican did it, and it's like I'm glad they posted. And people came to shows and they're cool, but like they're all like, "Yeah, he's fucking owning the libs." Well, they also edited out the beginning and end where I made fun of Republicans. So like it's all like I try to go at everyone kind of equally. It's kind of that's what I think comedy is.
That's what's great about it.
That's why I like The Simpsons and South Park. But it is funny. People just like find that kernel and then they just fucking run with it. They're like, he's one of us. And then like I did, and it did get me like fans that come to shows. And I did a show in Indy last weekend, and actually the first time I've ever sold out shows, which was like really cool. But it was like all these it was like Republican dudes. They drove into Indianapolis. They're wearing camo. They got their Affliction T-shirts on. They're like bad beards. I was a little nervous, but they were cool as hell. I'll give them credit. They laughed at like pro-trans jokes. I made fun of Biden. They're just there to have a good time. Yeah,
and honestly, like that says so much about your comedies. Like you can have audiences from both sides,
and I felt good about that because I was like nervous. Like, are they only here to hear me like fucking take it to the left? But then they were cool because I think we over exaggerate this divide.
We do
because when you really get down to it, the parties are 95% the same. We just fixate on these like dumb culture war bullshit that doesn't really matter. Like they're transing the kids or like it's all like it's kind of it's meaningless garbage. It is, mostly. I don't really vote generally.
It's a lot of it's just the media.
It's the media. Because they need us to act like, oh, we gotta pick every 4 years, and that's how we'll change the world. Like
exactly.
I've noticed it's every year, every 4 years, it's the biggest election of our lives. It's been that way since I knew what was going on since 2000. This election, it's gonna fucking change everything. You're not gonna want to miss this one. And then nothing happens, and it moves slightly one way, slightly the other. It doesn't really matter.
It is like a monster truck rally.
It is like a monster truck. You're gonna want to watch Trump get crushed by Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe's gonna get demolished. It's crazy. It's so funny. It's our world. It's crazy. The fact that we have a two-party system is like I haven't said it yet, but it's retarded. Yeah. Oh, so he can say it. It's
coming back.
The word's back. I say it on. You get one or two into your set. Yeah. I would never call a mentally challenged person that's wrong. I think, but
I thought Louis C.K. had one of the greatest bits I've ever seen on that very thing.
What was it again? I did see it.
It was I think it was I can't remember if it's his first special after the fall or the second one. But it was basically like, it's okay to say the word retarded because they're not around, because we don't invite them into our lives.
Because we treat them as second-class citizens. But you're like, no, don't say the word. Well, maybe let's give them mental health care and stuff. Like my mom was a special ed nurse. Like it's like brutal what we do to these kids. Like they're like she's working with like these vegetables. It's her and maybe one other woman and 25 like kids who are like screaming and throwing up and like because they don't give them any budget but we're like, don't say the word, that will help them. It's like fucking give them some mental health care or something.
Shane Gillis has done a great job.
Oh yeah, he has a great Down syndrome drug. That's very like humanizing. Is it I think I saw it at the cellar recently. It's like talking about his like cousin or something, or Uncle Danny with the grilled cheese sandwiches. It's so funny. We don't want to ruin it, but it's amazing. It's very humanizing, though. It's very like, they're people. They do talk different, and they are funny, but they're happy, and it's great. It's actually a brilliant joke. Honestly, he's the best comedian. Best new comedian.
And so like when I saw I didn't really know much about him until he got canceled.
Right, I never heard of him either.
I didn't know much about him, and then I never heard. Oh, he's got a special coming out. Well, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah,
and it was such a brilliant special that like 2 minutes in, I don't care about the SNL thing anymore. You know what
no,
I mean?
I know.
It's like, oh, this guy's like an incredible
He's a genius.
comic.
He's just like it is that old thing. Like if you're gonna be like an edgy comic, you're gonna take a few swings.
Yeah.
Like he shouldn't have said that thing, but also like whatever. He's not hurting anyone physically. It's like, oh yeah, I've said dumb things.
He's trying to be
like,
silly.
He's trying to be silly, and then his comedy's very smart. He's a genius.
His new hour is insanely good.
Really? Yeah, I've only seen like the 15-minute snippets at the Cellar, but it's really good. He's like this pro ISIS bit that's hilarious. Oh, yeah, the so Navy SEAL bit is genius.
So good.
He's so good at being like goofy, but then like weaving it in with like really smart stuff at the same time, and you don't really know. He talks about politics, but never really takes a stance, really, and it's very good.
I was talking to a comic friend of mine the other day about it. It's like the way I describe him is it's like he's like a boneheaded genius.
Yeah, exactly. Like he acts like he's dumb, but then the stuff he's saying is really smart, and you're like, which is it? You know?
Yeah.
I think he's like a huge history buff. From what I heard, I've gotten to meet him a few times.
Which makes his act like real interesting.
Yeah. I think he knows what he's talking about. He does, which is that's good. That's an example of someone who deserves to be famous getting their fame, which is like in YouTube. It was really all YouTube, and he made those really good sketches too.
Again, he put out a great special. It was undeniable,
and it's literally just called Live at Austin. Right, it didn't have anything really, no like great artwork. It's just a guy on a stage. Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah, and there's so many like I will go and just watch a lot of random YouTube specials. I'll tell you a good one. A guy that I've kind of, we're not like friends, the close friends or whatever, but I've just kind of known him and seen him around. Yeah. Shows with is Will Foskey. Do you know
him? I know Will. Yeah, he's great from Atlanta.
Guy.
Yeah, he's funny as hell.
But that's an example of a guy.
It did really well, didn't it?
Good. Yeah. I think it's got like over 300,000 views.
That's awesome.
It's solid. It's just solid.
Yeah, it's just.
I haven't seen any YouTube specials because I watch a lot of them. And I just go through. I'll just stand up comedy. Full special, and I haven't found one yet that is like, oh, this is legit. That's not doing pretty well.
Oh, really? When they're good, they do well.
I think so.
It finds them.
I think
that's
so.
Good. Because Will, I mean, he didn't really have like much credits or anything. He's just like funny. He's just funny.
Put out a good special,
and that's like a testament to like there's all these people toiling in almost obscurity, but they are good.
Because so many of them are bad. Like I see stuff where like to me like things that comics do that make no sense is like if you're putting out your special.
Yeah,
it's like it's a big deal,
Yeah,
and to open it with like 10 or 15 minutes of crowd work.
Oh yeah,
or to like have this whole like long diatribe to like try to get me to like you before I've seen one of your jokes.
Oh yeah. You gotta get in with some simple stuff or something.
It's there was one where it was like they were like interviewing his parents before the special.
And what? Do that at the end.
Yeah,
that could be funny at the end, but why would I? No one's gonna sit through that.
Right. It's like let's see the act.
Yeah. Right. Because I think Shane's starts right away. Stavros is just like first second. It just starts. That's what it should be. That's what mine will be. I don't know.
And
why you wouldn't do that?
What's crazy is like art. Like I was never into Ari Shaffir.
Yeah. His new special is good.
His special was so good. I was like, all right, I like Ari Shaffir.
I heard it. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard it's great.
So good.
He's a really nice guy too. I got to work with him once. He's an incredible. He's a very like helpful guy. Very nice, kind person. Yeah, which is good because a lot of people in comedy are not. So it's good to meet those people who are like humble and like cool guys.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, people are just bad, but there's a lot of people who are successful who are just like too good for it.
Totally. That's like, I've always thought like a good way to describe the difference, like people you meet in like, especially that industry. It's like if cool versus nice. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or it's like if someone's cool, it's like, oh, okay, they're just being cool. Like you can tell they're like down to earth, whatever.
Right.
But like I'm always like, a little wary of people who are like a little too nice.
Oh yeah, someone who's smiling all the time and hey, good to see ya. No one's happy all the time. It's just not true. No one can be smiling.
Terrify me.
People who are smiling on stage and off stage. A lot of them end up being rapists in my experience, honestly. Yeah. Especially clean comedy. Not all like there's a certain type of clean comedy where they're like smiling on stage and they're like always the good guy in their jokes.
Yeah.
That I'm very wary of people like that because I know a few and they turned out to be unsavory characters is what I'll say.
Because it's like they got to mask who they are.
They're masking who they are. They're not even letting. We all have darkness in us. Everyone's had evil thoughts. Everyone's had like these dark experiences, and if you don't let out a little bit of it, you're going to let it out some other time.
Yeah.
I like to let it out on stage, and I try to be a generally nice person off stage. But on stage, I'm kind of an asshole, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Because it's not real.
It's
not real.
I used to have this joke, like, I mean, I wrote this like 2 weeks into stand-up comedy, and it was like this line. It was like, I like rude people because nice people are just, or no, I prefer. Oh yeah, no. It was I prefer weird people over normal people because normal people are just weird in a way they can't tell you about.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're hiding a little secret.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
like, I'm weird. I like to tie up women or whatever. That's my weird secret. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's like in Minnesota where I'm from. There's like it's like people say we're Minnesota nice or whatever. Like we're nicer than other people. And it's like, no, they'll just like, we smile at each other on our way home from voting away your rights or whatever. Yeah. We're not like really nice. They're not like nice people at all. It's just like everyone tries to act like I'm Southern hospitality. They're like, no, we're nicer.
Yeah.
Every area is like, no, we're the nicest. It's like, everyone's just pretty generally mean.
Yeah, I actually like the big city. Like people are like, oh, in the big city people are rude, but it's like it's more real.
Yeah.
I like that.
We don't have to do this like fake, like how you doing? What's up? We don't care. It's all fake. It's fake. Yeah. I like New York that it's very anonymous.
Yeah.
You can do anything. No one really notices. You could walk down the street in just like a thong, and everyone's like, whatever, I'm doing my own thing. It is kind of freeing in a way. Yeah. There's like a thing me and my friend do whenever a train's coming. You can just like start yelling and no one can hear you. And it's kind of it's one of the most incredibly freeing that no one can hear you because it's like so loud. I've done it a couple times. It's really cathartic. Awesome. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it sounds nice. You can probably do that here.
You can probably do it here too in Chicago. Yeah. I love trains are. Have you gotten to ride the train?
I've not ridden the train yet.
No, you haven't. Oh, I love the train system. Yeah. That's like my little autism leaking out a little bit. Yeah. But I do love a good train system.
Yeah, I want to do it.
You don't really live by a train here. Was this Ukrainian village we're in right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not that close to a train, are you?
No, not too close.
Yeah.
I usually just like Uber and walk.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. But the train system is amazing, especially in New York. I mean, you have to ride it. It's great.
Yeah, because you can get anywhere in the city from the train.
Yeah, there's very few areas you can't get to by train. I don't know why you would own a car in the city, truthfully. I'm kind of shocked there's so many cars, I guess for Uber and stuff. But the train, it's everyone's like, oh, it's dirty, it's dangerous. It's not. I think people love to exaggerate how dangerous cities are.
Yeah, well, part of it is just the numbers of people.
It's just numbers.
It's easier for the news to be like, oh, look at all these people that were stabbed or murdered.
Exactly. People don't understand statistics. It's like,
oh, well, back home there's only one every week.
Yeah, well, there's only one Panera where you live. It's like different. Well, there's a great comic here named Avi Sanchez who has a great joke. And there's always like,
oh yeah, I know
the headline. He's funny. There's always a headline like 5 people shot in Chicago this weekend, but like 5.9 million people had a great weekend. It's like people don't understand those numbers. Yeah. And also, like, I hate to get into like too much statistic with crime, but like most crime is like between criminals shooting each other. It's not generally just attacking innocent people, and it's usually in like very concentrated neighborhoods. It's not like there's 5 shot in Chicago, but I bet it was in a very small area of Chicago. Like I lived here for 7 years. I rarely saw anything. Yeah. It's like we all just like to act like that place is dangerous. That's why we live here, or that other place is scary, or whatever. Yeah, it's generally not the case. I mean, I'd rather live here than in a fentanyl-infested like rural area. I mean, every place is dangerous in the end.
Yeah, it's like if there's people,
there's people. Like drunk driving in the countryside is incredibly dangerous. People. Piles of bodies from that. Yeah. I would driving after 1 a.m. in Wisconsin. I'd rather walk in Chicago at 1 a.m. than drive on a country road at 1 a.m.
You probably have less drunk driving in a big city because there's more options to go around.
Yeah, you don't. People don't have cars. You take Ubers, and but like in the countryside, I mean, everyone drunk drives. Yeah. In Wisconsin, it's like a badge of honor. Yeah. Like people it's like I have 7 DUIs, which is like. How is that? How do you keep your license?
Oh, dude, there was a comic back in Nashville. He got, I think it was 3 DUIs, and he went to jail for 6 months.
Really? And I think that's good. It's like incredibly dangerous.
You're gonna kill somebody.
Yeah, you're a criminal. It's like it's like shooting in a crowded building. It's like you're gonna hurt someone. Kind of. It's the same idea. But like in Wisconsin, I heard people have like 15 of them.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't care. Wisconsin's a different breed as far as alcohol goes, though. They really. Oh, yeah. I went to college there, and it is statistically true. Like
the Midwest
18
loves
of
to drink.
the Midwest loves to drink. In Wisconsin, in particular, like 18 of the 20 drunkest counties are in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I think the other ones are in like Iowa and Minnesota. But people, there's a statistic that domestic violence goes up on Sundays when the Packers lose. Like statistically, like 20% goes up when the Packers lose. So Aaron Rodgers has more than his team on his back when he's playing. When they have a bad year, it's a bad year for women. Yeah. It's not good. Roe v. Wade is nothing compared to a Packers versus Vikings game.
Oh man, was it not last week, the week before that? Like the Sunday mics here in Chicago got canceled because of the Packers game.
Oh, really?
Packers bar.
Oh, wow. You know? Yeah. Right. Is that the Wills Northwoods?
Right,
yeah, it's a Wisconsin bar. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like me and some comics, like Ubered, we're going to go down there. We found out it was closed. So then we're like, well, we'll just go to some other random bar that's nearby to watch the game. And it ended up also being a Packers bar.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they had some guy, like, DJing and stuff. It was like crazy.
Oh, Packers fans go nuts. They travel. People love the Packers,
but they lost. So it got
they lost.
Dark.
They do. I mean, they put their hearts and souls into that shit.
Yeah,
I do. I'm a Vikings fan, so Green Bay is kind of our mortal enemy. But I do have a little respect for it because it's like it is the smallest market of any major sports team.
Yeah,
by far, pretty much. I don't know what other city is. Like, it's only 100,000 people in Green Bay.
Yeah, it's pretty
The
crazy.
stadium almost doubles the capacity of the city when it's, like, having a game. So it is kind of cool that, like, a little mid-market team is one of the top 3 NFL teams, generally.
Yeah.
So that is kind of, even though I hate them to their core, but.
I saw the Vikings play their last regular season game this year.
Oh, you went to, it was probably, I'm sure it was kind of empty because it didn't really matter.
Kinda,
yeah, that was fun though.
It was cool. I was able to get like crazy good seats. For not very much money.
Yeah. And we won, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We were terrible.
They had they had like the starters in for the first part of the game.
Yeah, and then the Bears were playing not to get the first draft, basically. Right. And
they took out their starting quarterback because they were like, we don't want to win this game.
Yeah, they do because they can't openly say that, but that is what's happening.
Like, we're gonna rest our good players.
Yeah. And then when we're 3-14, it's it makes no sense. You hate to say it, I do love football, but every year it becomes a little harder to justify watching it. Yeah. Just with all the injuries, you're just like, God damn it. We're really watching men's lives get destroyed. Just like, and their families' lives destroyed. I still love it, but it's
that's what makes it good.
It is fun. There's higher stakes than any other sport. That's NBA, there's no brain damage happening.
Yeah.
You're like, I mean, not in the same way.
Yeah.
It is. And then the DeMar Hamlin, that was pretty crazy too.
Yeah. Speaking of that, about to watch the Bills game.
Yeah. He's not playing though, right? He's not. He's probably never playing again. But
well, I don't know.
Would you? I mean, he is. He was only 21 or 22. He was like a rookie or second year.
It was a really it's not a normal football injury though.
It was
it's
a freak accident.
A really unique thing.
Or it was the vaccine. If I listen to my right wing commenters,
I mean, anytime there's a freak accident, we know it was a vaccine.
It's so funny. They just blame it on the jab. It's just out of nowhere. It's like it's kind of funny, honestly. Yeah. But it was just like I can't remember what it was called, but it was. It like hit his heart at like the perfect time in the pulse or something. Yeah. So bizarre. Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, as much as I don't trust the government, I don't buy into like the vaccine is causing all these heart problems.
No, I don't.
I think everyone got COVID.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. COVID causes heart problems.
Also, everyone stayed home and ate like shit.
Right.
So those two things are
and
probably
we're just a fat, obese country. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's what I've been saying. It's like COVID causes myocarditis. Right. We just got COVID, and it's a deadlier disease than we thought it was. Is what it really is.
And basically, everyone got it. I don't know anyone that didn't.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
It,
and then of course people are going to get myocarditis. It is so funny. I just like the conspiracy theory of the vaccine. It just like people like want to believe in, but like every conspiracy theory needs a motive.
Yeah,
there has to be a reason why. Why would the government want us to get sick? Why would they want to give us a vaccine that makes us sick? It doesn't really make any sense because in the end, all they think of citizens, we're just like buyers. We're just consumers.
Yeah.
They don't want consumers to die.
Right.
We are money to them. We help the economy. They'll do anything to save the economy.
Yeah. I think
it just makes no sense.
It doesn't. Oh yeah, like they're putting a microchip in there.
Yeah.
It's like, you mean our phones?
Yeah. They're already tracking us.
Yeah.
What?
I think like the legitimate concerns though are like they did kind of a rush job on putting it together.
They did rush it, but they also put more money into it than any other vaccine.
True.
But it did get rushed a little.
I'm saying it's like not unreasonable to be like, I don't know.
Right. It maybe maybe accidentally a couple things were wrong, but to think they like purposefully created a bad vaccine, it just doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, trust me, the government's purposely fucking us over.
Yeah, they're hurting us in so many ways.
Yeah.
They're hurting us in so many ways.
Yeah.
The military industrial, prison industrial, but the vaccine I'm not that worried about.
Yeah.
I got the boosters. I feel generally fine.
I like how at the end we just made sure this podcast will get fucked in the algorithm.
Yeah. do they know? Do they talk? We're anti-vax. Put that in the algorithm. That's true. That is like the one thing they censor too is vaccine talk.
I don't know about now. Maybe, but
it seems like
at one time, like a comic friend of mine who's just this hilarious, like crazy guy. Like he made this, like right in the heat of all of that, he just posted on Facebook, "COVID is fake,"
just as a joke,
just to be a troll.
Yeah.
And the post got removed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they were real. I think now it's kind of the Wild West again, but there was a time where they took it all down.
Yeah,
which I think I don't know how I stand. I think it's probably a bad idea, but.
Yeah.
People were also spreading some wild shit.
Yeah.
But at what point do they need to step in? I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I'm very big on being skeptical of the government.
Yeah. But I think people just go a little too far.
Yeah.
I'm all into conspiracy theories. Every JFK absolutely killed by the FBI. Martin Luther King killed by the FBI. But the moon landing did happen. There's like a line where it's like,
and there's always like an in between, like with JFK, for example. I'm sure you have too. I've been there where it happened.
I did. Yeah, it was great. I loved that.
And all my life, I was like, oh, you could have never made that shot. But as a shooter, I looked and was like, oh, totally.
Oh, really? Because I was wondering. I don't know enough about guns, so it was an easy shot.
Totally make that shot.
Really? Okay.
I don't think the conspiracy was even that. They focused the conspiracy on how he got killed.
Right.
But I don't think that's where the real conspiracy was.
The conspiracy is why did that guy who went to Russia for 3 years kill him? Like,
very likely Oswald took the shot that killed him.
Sure.
Very likely. But it's just why he did it and who was behind it.
The conspiracy is the Jack Ruby thing. That's the crazy part.
Exactly,
the fact that a president, I'm surprised more presidents aren't assassinated. I'm not saying it's good, but it's honestly shocking. It's only 4 I think have been assassinated. Reagan, they tried, but like that's not that many really for the most powerful person in the world. So but like it is. I don't. Yeah. Who do you think killed JFK? I think it was probably CIA who were mad about the Bay of Pigs, probably.
And I think they contracted the mob to do it.
And the mob was mad too.
But they kind of tricked the mob into doing it.
Okay.
That's kind of my theory is like that was how they insulated themselves from it.
Right.
Was that they sort of like coerced the mob into doing it and probably made them think it was their idea.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then Jack Ruby had clear mob connections. And then he did it. I don't know why he did that because he was clearly going to get caught. But he probably had some debts or something to pay, I'm sure. And then did he die not that long later?
I think so,
a heart disease that I don't know. That might have just been coincidence, but
vaccine.
And then vaccine could have been the jab, an early jab. And then MLK was 100% killed by the FBI. I was reading that one's like all the civil rights leaders were. Malcolm X was probably a little bit FBI and whatever that guy who was killed in the bathtub, Huey Newton, I forget his name now, but they really went after them for sure.
That's like a thing where it's like, all right, this guy's getting some traction. We got to put a stop to this because we don't know what he's going to say. We'll make him a hero for what he said.
Exactly.
But we don't know what he's going to say after that.
Right. Well, the thing about MLK is that I always find interesting. I'm a huge history guy. Like, the Civil Rights Act was passed like 64, 65. He didn't die till 67, 68. Like, his last 3 years, he took a huge, like, socialist turn. He became a huge socialist at the end. He's like, white and black people, our enemy is the rich people. Like, that's who's causing this war in Vietnam and all that. And that's why they killed him.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the original civil rights, they're like, okay, you're right. We should let you drink at the same drinking fountains. That was pretty, like, obvious stuff, but he was going like the next level, and that's why they had to take him out.
Yeah.
He was going like, oh, all rich people are bad. And they're like, no. Gotta curb that, Martin. Can't say that. Yeah. That's kind of why they got him, I think. I don't know.
That's the unfortunate reality is like, we're still living in Game of Thrones time.
Oh, absolutely. They could take us out.
We put this veil on it to where it's like, oh, things are so society is very professional and organized, and it's like, it's still like the chaos groups and gangs and
absolutely. I just read this book about the drone strike program, and they assassinated like a dozen American citizens abroad and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah,
with like no trial, they just like kill them in a cafe or whatever.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's not like either party; it's everyone. It's just a bipartisan consensus.
I don't know why this popped in my head, but like I had a video kind of blow up recently on Instagram of me shooting that MP5 in the suitcase.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one.
So it's like this. It was a device where you could mount a gun inside of a suitcase and shoot it while it's closed.
Oh wow,
right?
Shit!
And so all these people, it kind of got out there. So like people that are not my normal audience were seeing it, right?
Yeah.
And they were just like, "Oh, this is crazy! Guns in America, civilians shouldn't have all that kind of stuff," And it was so much fun, like telling people, like, actually, the government came up with this.
Right? Yeah. Most of these technologies are invented by the government.
Exactly.
Right. And
this isn't some redneck in the woods that built this.
Right. It was like Lockheed Martin or whatever gun company it was. Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is actually this came with an FBI manual. So.
Every weapon was invented by the government, sure. Probably most of them.
People contracted
by the government. Yeah. But the government it's in their interest to come up with better weapons. They're trying all the time.
Totally.
And then we get them 20 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
When they admit that they publicly exist or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's great.
Yeah, it is.
I love our world, and it's good. And the Democrats will change it. They're different.
Yeah,
they're the good guys. I'm kidding. I don't give I truly don't care. Except for Bernie. Poor Bernie. I do love Bernie.
Yeah, of course you do.
He was the one I had to like. He's the one guy I was like, he might have actually been a good person, but poor Bernard. They got him.
I really have a hard time with politics in general because my thing is just guns. Right. It's like, leave my guns alone.
Don't take.
I'm very pro legalizing drugs. It's like I'm pretty like socially liberal.
Right.
It's like guns, and I'm pretty
legalize prostitution. You in for that? Absolutely, legalize it. Yeah, I don't know. Making things illegal doesn't stop people from doing it. So I don't know why we do it.
That's another joke I have to tell you I'll tell you after the show. After we get off about this guy, but the guy that had the Einstein joke. This joke is actually on his album. I think it's on his album, but he has a great legalized prostitution joke. It's like, it should be legal. It should be legal. Prostitution should be illegal because it shouldn't be a crime to be the saddest thing a person could be.
Yeah, right. Just let these men get their load off.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally.
I agree. That's fun. I'm excited to know who that is.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him up here to get going with comedy again.
Oh, good. Yeah.
He's very funny.
People always quit when they're good.
I know. Again, it's like people are so talented.
It's because they also have self-awareness. People who are really talented, they like are really critical. Like the guys who are the best, they'll like have like an incredible set, but they're like, God, that one fucking joke didn't hit. And then the people who suck are like, I killed every set. They're like, they get like one titter, and they're like, that was amazing. It's like you bombed.
Right.
You should know that. Like, I think I bomb all the time, and it's good. It probably is bad for my mental health, but it helps my career for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get better. Other people are like, I'm already good. Why would I change anything?
Yeah, you're better off to like have overly high standards.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Always, I agree. I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people think like just because they heard a laugh.
Yeah, they're like, I killed. Like, no, you should have more than that.
Yeah.
And you should not post that, but they will, and then it goes viral. It's crazy.
Yeah. I always felt like just like mathematically, like a kind of a way to describe. I feel like killing versus like murdering. Is like killing is like a room filling laughter.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's no more sound left in the room other than just the laughter.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then murdering is like when the laughter changes its shape.
Yeah, it like morphs. It goes up and down. Like you can't even say the next line.
Right.
Yeah, killing is like every joke gets a laugh, but murdering is when like it goes in waves.
Yeah.
They can't stop laughing almost.
Yeah. Or
people
I mean, even just like killing versus murdering off of one punchline.
Oh, just one joke. Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Not like the whole set, but just like, you know, to me that's the difference. It's like it's like, okay, that joke hit so hard that the whole room was full of laughter. Whereas like you couldn't hear any other distinctive sounds other than just a massive laugh.
For sure.
And it's like murdering. It's like it hits people so hard that it's like, well, one, it's going to last longer, but then there's like you hear like weird different types of things.
Right. They like start like snorting or like you hear different Absolutely. Yeah. People are way too quick to say they murdered or killed.
Oh, dude.
It happens once a year if you're lucky.
Yeah, like, I hate that shit. Yeah.
Everyone killed. I have never seen a show where everyone killed.
No, it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. I've rarely seen a show where 2 people killed on it. It just doesn't happen that often.
No, it doesn't.
People like gotta raise our expectations for each other.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or people like tell you how much time they have, like young comics.
Yeah, they're like, I got 30 minutes. You do not. You can talk for 30 minutes.
Right. It's like, I haven't even seen you have one good open mic set, and you're telling me you got an hour?
I know. Yeah, I think it's a lot of like social media. They went viral on TikTok one time, and they're like, well, I'm clearly a legend. And it's like, well, the algorithm lets everyone go viral every few months when you really get down to it.
True, yeah.
That's how they keep you on it.
Totally. All right. Well, I appreciate you for coming on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. This was fun. I like this. Yeah.
And new specials going to be available on YouTube.
New special on YouTube. The Only Funny White Man, probably early March, hopefully.
Okay, cool.
That's the goal. Yeah. Come out to a show. What's my Instagram? Geoffrey ATM. Geoffrey ATM. Geoffrey Astamouth. A joke for me and me alone. It's so fucking dumb, but here we are.
Well, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
funny.
man.
Check him out.
Come on, go to a show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Thank you.
Peace.